Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes University of Michigan slithers toward history with massive acquisition of Jared snake specimens. Authorities have no leads in brutal September beating of 19-year-old woman. Police investigate death of man found in school greenhouse. Aviation is on a precipice, Airbus plots course to net zero for UK aerospace. Family fortunes, the end of legacy admissions. University of Michigan slithers toward history with massive acquisition of Jared snake specimens. The Toronto Star. The University of Michigan Museum of Zoology has acquired tens of thousands of reptile and amphibian specimens from Oregon State University, including an estimated 30,000 snakes, making it the largest collection in the U.S. The new additions will allow scientists to conduct research into snake and amphibian evolution. The museum's collections manager, Greg Schneider, stated that the more stuff you have and the more associated materials that you have, the more things you can do. He added that the new collections have sparked renewed enthusiasm among staff. Authorities have no leads in brutal September beating of 19-year-old woman. Yahoo! Police in Santa Fe, New Mexico, are trawling through surveillance footage to find leads in the severe beating of a 19-year-old woman who was found lying unconscious in a pool of blood in the parking lot of her apartment building. The Santa Fe Police Department has not yet identified any suspects in the case. Police investigate death of man found in school greenhouse. The Sydney Morning Herald. Homicide detectives in Melbourne are investigating the death of a man whose body was found in a school greenhouse. The man, who was of African appearance and in his 20s or 30s, was discovered by a school staff member on Monday morning. Detectives are calling for dashcam footage from the area to help with their investigation. The cause of death and the man's identity are both currently unknown. The school, Lyndale Secondary College, continued with classes as normal on Monday. Aviation is on a precipice, Airbus plots course to net zero for UK aerospace. Financial Times. Airbus is developing a new wing design as part of its efforts to achieve the aviation industry's goal of net zero emissions by 2050. The full-size prototype, longer and thinner than current wing designs, is being developed in North Wales by AMRC Cymru, an offshoot of the University of Sheffield's Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre. The wing will be tested at Airbus's development centre in Filton, near Bristol. The industry is at a critical point in its transition to net zero, according to Ben Morgan, research director of the AMRC. The UK civil aircraft industry, which accounted for around two-thirds of the aerospace sector's £27 billion, $37 billion, turnover last year, is also at stake. The government has provided long-term support for the sector's research and development, including through the Aerospace Technology Institute, ATI, which funds innovations in the civil aviation sector. The ATI estimates that the market for fuel-efficient aircraft will be worth £4.3 trillion by 2050. Family fortunes, the end of legacy admissions. Financial Times. The president of Johns Hopkins University, Ron Daniels, has predicted that more top U.S. universities will end the practice of awarding places to the children of alumni. Daniels eliminated legacy places at his own university in 2020 and believes that other institutions will follow suit. Legacy places are controversial as they are seen as unfair and blocking social mobility. However, defenders argue that they help to maintain college communities and funding. Legacy places are common not only in the Ivy League colleges but also in many other private and publicly funded universities in the U.S. The issue has come under renewed scrutiny following a landmark Supreme Court ruling in June, which struck down affirmative action. The Department of Education subsequently launched an investigation into legacy admissions, indicating that scrapping the practice could help to maintain diversity. Several universities, including Carnegie Mellon, Amherst, Wesleyan, and the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, have recently announced that they will no longer take legacies into account in admissions, and others, such as Rice, are considering doing the same. We shouldn't be scared to call Hamas what it is. The Toronto Star. The author emphasizes the importance of calling Hamas a terrorist group and condemns the recent violence against Israel. The article argues that Hamas, as an organization, explicitly states in its charter that it seeks the destruction of Israel and the killing of Jews. The author criticizes those who try to justify Hamas's actions as a response to Israeli occupation, asserting that this is a distortion of the truth. The article also highlights the rise of anti-Semitism and the targeting of Jews in recent protests and demonstrations. It argues that the false narrative that Israel was responsible for the bombing of a Gaza hospital was spread by Hamas and used to fuel hatred against Israel. The author criticizes politicians and activists who initially condemned Israel but later retracted or qualified their statements under pressure. The article concludes by discussing the case of Sarah Jama, a Canadian politician who has been accused of anti-Semitism for her comments about Israel. The author argues that Jama's actions devalue Jewish life and are a cause for concern. Oklahoma Sooners received 2 predictions for 2024 4-star safety. Yahoo! The Oklahoma Sooners have received 2 crystal ball predictions from 247 Sports. 4-star safety Reggie Powers is said to be heavily leaning towards choosing the Sooners over UCLA. Grant saw a surreal blue light in the water. Experts say it's a sign of climate change. ABC. A bioluminescence event in the waters of Sydney Harbour has been attracting visitors from across the city. The phenomenon occurs when a single-celled algae called phytoplankton blooms in warmer waters. The recent bloom is the result of warming waters and a lack of strong winds that would normally stir up the water and make it more difficult for the phytoplankton to flourish. The appearance of more frequent bioluminescence events is believed to be caused by changing ocean currents due to climate change. Number 17 Stanford scores late to earn draw at Washington. Yahoo! In a men's soccer match between number 17 Stanford and Washington, the game ended in a 1-1 draw. Will Cleary scored for Stanford in the 89th minute, while Brian Iliahan scored for Washington in the 44th minute. Junior women reportedly ranked in Hottie's list circulated by Infrastructure Department staff. ABC. The Infrastructure Department in Australia is investigating claims that a Hottie's list was circulated, ranking junior women by attractiveness. The concerns were first raised in March, and while independent investigators could not find evidence the list existed, the department has taken the allegations seriously. The department's secretary, Jim Betts, said he was disgusted by the allegations and that he had taken advice from former Sex Discrimination Commissioner Kate Jenkins. If further information comes to light, Betts said he would not hesitate to apply severest sanctions available. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 degrees. Today, we've got a diverse range of news stories to discuss, from a massive acquisition of snake specimens to a disturbing Hottie's list scandal. So, let's dive in. First up, the University of Michigan is slithering toward history with its acquisition of tens of thousands of Jared snake specimens. With an estimated 30,000 snakes, this collection is now the largest in the U.S. It's a fascinating opportunity for scientists to study snake and amphibian evolution. And hey, who knows, maybe they'll find the key to making a Medusa-like transformation. Just kidding, but seriously, the possibilities for research are endless. Moving on, we have some unsettling news from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Police are desperately searching for leads in the brutal beating of a 19-year-old woman. It's a shocking crime, and authorities are currently sifting through surveillance footage to find any clues. Let's hope they catch the perpetrator soon and bring justice to the victim. In Melbourne, Australia, detectives are investigating the death of a man found in a school greenhouse. This mysterious case has left investigators scratching their heads, as the cause of death and the man's identity are still unknown. Dashcam footage from the area might hold the key to solving this puzzle. But one thing's for sure, the school had no intention of letting this incident disrupt their day-to-day activities. Classes proceeded as normal, because hey, when life gives you a mysterious death, make the most of your education. Now, let's take to the skies with some news from the aviation industry. Airbus is plotting its course to net zero emissions by 2050, and they're starting with a new wing design. This prototype, longer and thinner than current designs, is being developed in Wales, and the industry's future is at stake. With the UK civil aircraft industry accounting for a significant portion of the aerospace sector's turnover, it's crucial that they find sustainable solutions. And hey, if they succeed, we might just be flying on wings of hope and eco-friendliness in the future. Shifting gears to the world of education, it seems that legacy admissions might be on their way out. The president of Johns Hopkins University predicts that more top U.S. universities will follow suit in ending the practice of awarding places to the children of alumni. While some argue that legacy admissions help maintain college communities and funding, others see them as unfair and hindering social mobility. It's a debate worth having, and it's great to see universities reevaluating their admissions policies. Now, let's talk about Hamas. The Toronto Star published an article emphasizing the importance of calling Hamas a terrorist group. The author condemns the recent violence against Israel and argues that justifying Hamas's actions as a response to Israeli occupation is a distortion of the truth. The rise of anti-Semitism and the targeting of Jews during protests are also highlighted. It's a contentious issue, and it's crucial to examine the complexities surrounding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. On a lighter note, the Oklahoma Sooners have received some good news in the world of college football recruiting. They've received 2 predictions for a 4-star safety to join their team. Let's hope this talented player helps them reach new heights on the field. And finally, we have a natural phenomenon in Sydney Harbour that's attracting visitors from all over. A bioluminescence event caused by a bloom of phytoplankton is lighting up the waters. This stunning display is a result of warmer temperatures and changing ocean currents due to climate change. It's a reminder of the beauty and fragility of our planet, and a call to take action to protect it. That's all for today, folks. Remember, your thoughts and opinions matter, so I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any questions for me? Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.